How the jackal got his stripe. The son was a strange little child, said Outa. He never had any papa or mama. No one knew where he came from. He was just found by the roadside. In the olden days, when the men of the ancient race, the old people that lived so long ago, were trekking in search of game, they heard a little voice calling. It was not a springbucky, it was not a tarantel, it was not a little ostrich. They couldn't think what it was. But it kept on, it kept on. Outa's head nodded in time to his repetitions. Why didn't they go and look? Asked Willem. They did, my bosh. They hunted about amongst the milk bushes by the roadside, and at last under one of them they found a nice brown baby. He was lying quite still looking about him, not like a baby, Bashes, but like an old child, and sparks of light, as bright as the sparks from Outa's tinderbox, seemed to fly out of his eyes. When he saw the men, he began calling again. Carry me, carry me. Pick me up and carry me. Ah! He can talk, said the man. What a fine little child. Where have your people gone? And why did they leave you here? But the little son wouldn't answer them. All he said was, put me in your ewe skin. I'm tired, I can't walk. One of the men went to take him up, but when he got near he said, so. But he's hot, the heat comes out of him. I won't take him. How can you be so silly, said another man. I'll carry him. But when he got near, he started back. Ella! What eyes! Fire comes out of them. And he, too, turned away. Then a third man went. He is very small, he said, I can easily put him in my ewe skin. He stooped and took the little son under his arms. Oh hey! Oh hey! Oh hey! He cried, dropping the baby onto the red sand. What is this for coverage? It is like fire under his arms. He burns me when I take him up. The others all came round to see. They didn't come too near, my bashes, because they were frightened, but they wanted to see the strange brown baby that could talk, and that burned like a fire. All on a sudden he stretched himself, he turned his head and put up his little arms. Bright sparks flew from his eyes, and yellow light streamed from under his arms, and higher, skie, the men of the early race fell over each other as they ran through the milk bushes back to the road. My! But they were frightened. The women were sitting there with their babies on their backs, waiting for their husbands. Come along. Hurry. Hurry. See that you get away from here, said the men, without stopping. The women began to run, too. What was it? What did you find? A terrible something, said the men, still running. It pretends to be a baby, but we know it is a mensavrita. There it lies in the sand, begging one of us to pick it up and put it in his ewe skin, but as soon as we go near, it tries to burn us, and if we don't make haste and get away from here, it will certainly catch us. Then they ran faster than ever. Bashes no, no, corrected Outa, with a sly smile. Outa means Bashes don't know how frightenness makes wings grow on people's feet, so that they seem to fly. So the men of the early race, and the women with their babies on their backs, flew, and very soon they were far from the place where the little son was lying. But someone had been watching, my Bashes, watching from a bush nearby. It was Jackals, with his bright eyes and his sharp nose, and his stomach close to the ground. When the people had gone, he crept out to see what had made them run. Hardly a leaf stirred, not a sound was heard, so softly he crept along under the milk bushes to where the little son lay. What a fine little child has been left behind by the men, he said. Now that is really a shame, that none of them would put it into his ewe skin. Carry me, carry me. Put me in your ewe skin, said the little son. I haven't got an ewe skin, Bosh, said Jackals, but if you can hold on, I'll carry you on my back. So Jackals lay flat on his stomach, and the little son caught hold of his manha, and rolled round on his back. Where do you want to go? Asked Jackals. There, where it far is, said the baby, sleepily. Jackals trotted off with his nose to the ground and a sly look in his eye. He didn't care where the baby wanted to go, he was just going to carry him off to the krans where Tant and the young Jackalses lived. If Beshes could have seen his face. Outa Karels. He was smiling, and when Jackal smiles, it is the wickedest sight in the world. He was very pleased to think what he was taking home. Fat brown babies are as nice as fat sheep tails, so he went along quite jolly. But only at first. Soon his back began to burn where the baby's arms went round it. The heat got worse and worse, until he couldn't hold it out any longer. So. Bosh burns me, he cried. Sail down a little further, Bosh, so that my neck can get cool. The little son slipped further down and held fast again, and Jackals trotted on. But soon he called out again, so. Now the middle of my back burns. Sail down still a little further. The little son went further down and held fast again. And so it went on. Every time Jackals called out that he was burning, the baby slipped a little further, and a little further, till at last he had hold of Jackals by the tail, and then he wouldn't let go. Even when Jackals called out, he held on, and Jackal's tail burnt and burnt. My! It was quite black. Help! Help! He screamed. ACH, you devil's child! Get off! Let go! I'll punish you for this. I'll bite you. I'll gobble you up. My tail is burning. Help! Help! And he jumped, and bucked, and rushed about the veld, till at last the baby had to let go. Then Jackals jumped round, and ran at the little son to bite him and gobble him up. But when he got near, a funny thing happened, my Beshes. Yes, truly, just when he was going to bite, he stopped halfway, and shivered back as if someone had beaten him. At first he had growled with crossness, but now he began to whine from frightenedness. And why was it, my Beshes? Because from under the baby's arms streamed brightness and hotness, and out of the baby's eyes came streaks of fire, so that Jackals winked and blinked, and tried to make himself small in the sand. Every time he opened his eyes a little, just like slits, there was the baby sitting straight in front of him, staring at him so that he had to shut them again quick. Come and punish me, said the baby. No, Bosh, ACH no, said Jackals in a small, little voice, why should I punish you? Come and bite me, said the baby. No, Bosh, no, I could never think of it. Jackals made himself still a little smaller in the sand. Come and gobble me up, said the baby. Then Jackals gave a yell and tried to crawl further back. Such a fine little child, he said, trying to make his voice sweet, who would ever do such a wicked thing? You would, said the little son, when you had carried me safely to your krans, you would have gobbled me up. You are talk so clever, Jackals, but sometimes you will meet your match. Now, look at me well. Jackals didn't want to look, my Beshes, but it was just as if something made his eyes go open, and he lay there staring at the baby, and the baby stared at him, so, my Beshes, just so. Outa stretched his eyes to their utmost and held each fascinated child in turn. You'll know me again when you see me, said the baby, but never again will you be able to look me in the face. And now you can go." Fierce light shot from his eyes, and he blew at Jackals with all his might. His breath was like a burning flame, and Jackals, half dead with frightenness, gave a great howl and fled away over the vlakt. From that day, my bashes, he has a black stripe right down his back to the tip of his tail. And he cannot bear the sun, but hides away all day with shut eyes, and only at night, when the old man with the bright armpits has gone to sleep, does he come out to hunt and look for food, and play tricks on the other animals.